Welcome to the final episode of my Carnival Horizon vlog series. Just 6 nights ago we cast off our lines here at Miami Cruise Port and set off out to sea for what was going to be a pretty unforgettable cruise for a whole number of reasons. If you'd like to check out everything that I experienced on board, you can do that through my other episodes. You'll find links to all of them down in the description to this video, so make sure you head over and check them out after you're done here. Anyway, let me give you a really quick recap of what we've seen together over the last week on board. Up first, we visited Jamaica. I wasn't totally sold on what I saw here, but hey, it's always interesting to see a new part of the world, and I used the opportunity to do a bit of work, yes, in the middle of Jamaica, before heading back to the IMAX on board the ship. Absolutely brilliant. After that, it was back on board for a day at sea before docking at one of the most beautiful places yet, Grand Cayman. I then visited 7 Mile Beach, which is frequently voted one of the best beaches on the planet. Look at that sand and look at that water before heading back to deal with queues, and more queues to get back on board the ship. I could not believe the amount of people that all arrived back at the ship at exactly the same time. After we got through the queue, it was time to get into the tender boat, back onto the ship, and back out to sea. So after an absolutely gorgeous sail away from Grand Cayman, it was then time to go to sleep and wake up in Cruise Ship City. That's right, Cozumel, Mexico. I have never been surrounded by so many cruise ships. We had Royal Caribbean and we had another 2 Carnival ships in port with us. It was unbelievable. During that video, I then showed you what it was like to dock here, showed you the port, and also took you outside for a look at what was going on in the main town. We found this really cool museum that looked as though it was inside an Aztec temple. It was really, really impressive. And after that, it was time to head back to the ship to get back to Miami. If you find this video useful and if you enjoy it, it would be amazing if you would think about supporting my channel by clicking the thumbs up button and also clicking subscribe. Guys, welcome back and a very good morning to you from my little inside cabin here on Carnival Horizon. Now today is Disembarkation Day, which means that this is the day that I need to leave the ship. And don't I know it, because every 5 minutes there's been another announcement coming through the tannoy system since, what, about 6:30 this morning. It's my biggest criticism of this cruise. I feel as though every member of the crew on here has total free reign of the tannoy system, and every day of this cruise I've been woken up to announcements, whether it's in the morning, if I go for a nap in the afternoon, it keeps coming through again, and even at night, the announcements keep coming through, and they even come through all the way into the cabins, which, yeah, that's not a Carnival thing, because I was on Carnival Panorama about 4 weeks ago, and I definitely never had that issue on there, so I'm not entirely sure what's happening on here. Now, anyway, I need to leave my cabin because my stateroom steward has to come in and get ready for the next cruise, so rather than catch up with you here on the plan for today, which is very exciting, come and join me up on the top deck and let's walk through how this week's been and also what we're getting up to today. So yeah, I'll see you up there. Okay guys, good morning properly, and before we start on anything, can we talk about the view here? Like, Miami is such a beautiful port to pull into. I always forget how nice it is. The behind at the moment, you've got all the skyscrapers and the high-rise condo apartment blocks, and then behind the camera, so what you can't see right now, there's all the yachts, there's the kind of like the strip highway that takes you down to South Beach. That's right in front of the ship where all the cruise terminals are. But yeah, there's huge houses over there. Oh, I honestly love Miami. I was gonna get up this morning to watch us docking here, but if I'm perfectly honest, my bed was definitely the better option this morning, so you guys lost that battle, unfortunately. So yeah, I have also realised that we are docked directly behind Harmony of the Seas, which, if you followed my videos when we were down in Cozumel, that was yet 2 days ago, so probably my last video, then you'll remember that Harmony was docked right opposite us. So yeah, Yesterday we appear to have basically followed Harmony all the way back up to Florida, and here we are, back together in Miami. Now, plan for this morning. Now, the way that Carnival do their disembarkations, they first of all begin with anyone that has got all their luggage with them. So a lot of people that I met there waiting on the elevators, they've got their luggage, they're all ready as a family unit, ready to go. I don't do that. I would much rather keep my hand luggage bag in my backpack and then get my hold bag when I get into the terminal building. So it's got air tags in it, like I'm comfortable leaving it in there. So I'll be doing that, which means that I'll be waiting until towards the end of disembarkation. So my luggage label is number 25, and I think that we only need that to get into the baggage compartments in the actual terminal building. But what they go by, that's my driving license, they don't go by that. Oh my goodness, that's my bank card, they don't go by that. Where is it? There's a credit card. My cabin steward's business card, like I've got everything. Okay, what I'm trying to show you is my room key. Now, what they basically go by on here is down at the bottom, you've got muster station. So I'm not sure if the camera will have focused on that there, but I'm muster station D3. So I just need to wait for that. And when that gets called, I can head downstairs. So yeah, I'm hoping that should be probably within the next hour because I've got quite a lot to do today. And yeah, let's go and get breakfast and then join me back up here and I'll talk to you about what we're doing today, because this video should be quite an interesting one. So yeah, let's go eat and I'll see you in 10 minutes. Okay, breakfast done, and guys, honestly, the Eggs Benedict on here in the buffet is the best that I've had in such a long time. I don't know, something about it makes it a bit odd, but when you cut into it, it's runny, which from what I've seen on cruise ships, beggars can't be choosers, and runny yolks, you can hardly come across them. So Carnival, you were failing miserably on Carnival Panorama, but whatever you're doing on Carnival Horizon, whoever's cooking those eggs in the Lido buffet, give them a raise, because they are doing their job very, very well. Now, anyway, plan for today, because we're not going to stay on the top deck all morning chatting. We have got a city to get into, so I'm actually meeting two of my friends in South Beach today, which I cannot wait for. So Jan and Steve are heading off on, I think, Scarlet Lady from the Virgin Terminal in a couple of days' time. So they're in Miami already, and as luck would have it, Jan is actually my travel agent. So yeah, we're going to head off and do brunch today, which is going to be so cool that we've been able to catch up in a foreign country. This will be absolutely brilliant. So I don't know what I'll be able to show you from brunch. I'll definitely show you the food that we're eating, and I'll try and show you the place that we're going. But then, oh man, then the fun really begins. So I would like, of course, there's an announcement. I'm going to keep talking. So yeah, that's B3 and B4, so I'm D3. But then the fun really begins because I need to fly to New York. So I need to fly to New York, get into the city centre to get to Grand Central Station, to then take a train north, I think, to Connecticut. So I'm staying in Connecticut with some friends this week before getting on my next ship, which I'll tell you about tonight when we get there. So cross everything that this is going to go well, but today is a big day because I'm going from the cruise port to South Beach to Miami International Airport, airport to New York LaGuardia, LaGuardia to Grand Central Station, and Grand Central Station to Connecticut. So, right, I've been reassured by everyone I've met on here. It's doable. It's going to take a lot of willpower, but it's doable. So come with me, and I guess let's now travel across this part of America, and I'm going to see you as we head up the East Coast later on today. It was then time to leave the water slides behind here on Carnival Horizon and think about heading downstairs to disembark from the ship. I always recommend on your final morning on board, try and take one final walk around the ship just to enjoy it without the buzz of so many other passengers. Here's the main atrium for one final time. I really loved this space on board. It was one of my favourite places. You'll have seen this throughout my videos. The only design flaw that I could spot in here was that you couldn't actually see the ocean at any point, which seemed strange. Anyway, when I went down to get off the ship, there was a lot of other people queuing, but I managed to arrive at the right time, as they opened this side, so I was able to jump the queue and get straight off. So for me, it was time to unfortunately say goodbye to Horizon and head down the gangway. I know, this is such a sad part of any cruise, isn't it? Up the gangway, and then I was back in the terminal building. And that brings us to the front door. I was going over to South Beach, and to get there, I was just going to use an Uber. The only thing I would say is if you are leaving Miami cruise port, make sure that you have mobile data, because I was relying on Wi-Fi from the building, which meant getting my Uber connection relatively difficult. Anyway, there is my now infamous bag loaded in the back of the car, which means it's time to head inside and drive through the city. And just like that, we have arrived at where we're going for brunch. Now, this place was absolutely fantastic. If you're looking for a recommendation for somewhere to eat or somewhere to grab a drink before or after your cruise, I would absolutely recommend stopping in here. Let me show you the menu. I opted for something pretty light. I just had a pastry and then an iced coffee, which I'll show you in a sec, but really, really recommend. Anyway, after here, I went back to my travel agent's hotel, where I was quite surprised. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to what is without a doubt the poshest hotel I've been in since I started my travels this year. If you've followed me for a while, you will know that I have chosen to stay in quite a few cost-effective accommodation options, and so it was a complete novelty to arrive somewhere that just casually has yachts parked at the front door. Of course it does. Personally, I absolutely loved using the free Wi-Fi in here to upload my next YouTube video, but it was very apparent that I probably didn't fit in here. However, I did enjoy looking at the various ridiculous cars that were at the front door before heading into my trusty Uber to get up to the airport. Unfortunately, the next car on your screen, this Toyota, was my Uber, so I did not get to travel to the airport in a Rolls Royce. Anyway, I then took that car to head to here, which is Miami International Airport, at which point the next task on my agenda was to figure out how to get a ridiculously overweight check bag onto the plane. Right, guys, do you want to laugh? Some of you are going to really appreciate this. So I have made it to Miami International Airport, and honestly, see if any of you ever look at my YouTube or you look at my TikTok or you look at my Instagram and you think, oh, this guy's life sounds so glamorous. Well, let me fill you in on what's just happened. Now, I've obviously been travelling. I got on my first flight in August, which was what, about 6 or 7 weeks ago. I've been on a lot of ships. I've accumulated, to be honest, half of it is a lot of nonsense. There's a lot of cruise branded t-shirts in there, but anyway, I've chosen to buy it, so I love it all. Now, anyway, got to the airport, and American Airlines for this flight allow you to have £50, whatever that is in kilograms, I don't know if I'm honest with you, £50 of luggage to fly on a domestic flight. Now, I put my bags on the scale and it came to £74, which was relatively unfortunate, and the lady behind the counter kind of looked at the bag and said, "Sir, there's not a lot we can do, you're currently £24 over." So I thought, excellent, okay, this probably isn't going to go totally to plan. Anyway, I then said to her, look, what do I have to do to get it down to the point where you'll let me take it? And she said, oh, just put some stuff in your carry-on, but you're never going to fit that much in your carry-on. All I'm going to say is I've got a boarding pass and my carry-on is now rammed so full of everything, and we even had a situation in there for a while where all of my clothes were all over the airport floor. So my backpack has now got stuff in it. My case there, you can see I've got my heavy jacket on top of it. If I could pan this camera down, I would, but I'm currently wearing jeans. I've got a long sleeve top. Honestly, if you ever think my life is glamorous, take this message and think again, because honestly, oh, this kind of thing is just if you didn't laugh, you would cry, wouldn't you? So anyway, look, let's get into the terminal. Head on to this American Airlines flight. Oh, the person whose name it was that helped me actually was Carol. So Carol, if you happen to find this in the total long shot of YouTube, thank you so much, because you saved me. She even let me take my sun cream. So yeah. Oh, honestly guys, I'm knackered already, and I've got a flight to New York to do, plus a train to Connecticut for 2 hours. What a day. Right, let's go. Guys, welcome on board. We're now on the plane, and before we take off, let's talk money. Now, this flight tonight is so quiet. Apparently at the check-in desk they were saying there was only 40 people booked onto the flight. Most of them seem to be on the other side of the business class curtain, which means that there's about, 20 odd of us in the whole of economy, which is absolutely mad. Now, this flight cost me about it was like $52 or something US, so it was so cheap. The bag cost me $30, and as you know, I've managed to evade the overweight bag charge, which I don't think there's any chance of my bag bringing us out the skies, considering there's no other weight on the whole aircraft. So look, let me show you where I'm sitting, let me show you what this looks like. An economy product seat on American Airlines, I'm actually pretty impressed. So you've got power. That was loud. You've got power, I've got the whole row to myself, and even the row over there, there's nobody in it. There's also nobody 2 rows in front, and nobody the whole way behind. So look, let me show you. In no time at all, the plane started to move, and we were now officially underway and en route to New York City, which I had to completely pinch myself for so many times. I said to an air hostess when I was getting on the plane that I had never flown into New York before, and I was really excited to hopefully get a good view. She then gave me the heads up that if I sat on that side of the plane, I would probably get a better view, but she did add the caveat that she does this flight every other week, so she can't really remember what side of the plane the New York skyline would be on. However, what you're about to see is what filled me with absolute joy landing into New York. Not too long after we were officially airborne, it was time for sunset and time to think about coming back down to land in one of the biggest cities on the planet. I said that I was looking forward to hopefully getting a glimpse of the city, and American Airlines certainly delivered. Look at how absolutely stunning the view coming into New York was. This was just captured on my iPhone. I was completely covered in goosebumps and actually pretty emotional landing in New York. This part of my trip was such a huge climax of Caribbean done, other coast of America done, Panama Canal done, and we're now here, ready to begin the next leg of this trip. Anyway, I'll see you in the terminal. Just like that, I am now in New York City. So the journey is nowhere near over yet, because I now need to go from here, which is LaGuardia Airport, into Grand Central Station and then take a 2-hour train north to Connecticut, where I'm going to be staying with some friends for the week. So look, my bags have been emptied again, so they are now back into the big suitcase, thank goodness. Let's head over to the Uber rank. Let's get into, well, the centre of one of the biggest cities in the world, and I will next talk to you when we get up to my hotel room in Connecticut. Okay, let's get this show on the road and head into downtown New York. I headed to the pickup area at my terminal, which was Terminal B. It was really straightforward. Wi-Fi here was great, so I was able to be connected to the Uber app the entire time. I then got in the car, and before I knew it, it was night time. I was in a taxi driving through the streets of New York City. You can hopefully tell from this video that I was just amazed throughout this entire experience. I felt as though I was in either a TV show or a movie. I was last in New York so many years ago, so I can't really remember it. I honestly felt as though I was the luckiest person on the planet getting to experience all of this after hopping off a cruise ship. It was amazing. Here's the main ticket hall of Grand Central Station, which is where I got my train to go to Connecticut. You just go up to these really cool little windows, buy your ticket, and then look up at what is one of the most ornate ceilings I've ever seen in a train station. This place is unreal. Anyway, as you know, I left Carnival Horizon this morning in Miami. It's now nighttime in New York. Let's have a time check. It's 9:20 p.m, which means it's time for us to leave New York and get on our next mode of transport, which is the train. Now, my friends live in Connecticut, so I took the train from the top one here, which is track number 16, which put us to here. Everything about this experience just felt like the most surreal day of my entire life. Even walking down the platform, all I could think here was, this train just looks so American. I'm officially in real America. Guys, I have made it all the way to my hotel here in Connecticut. So just to timestamp where we're at right now, it is bang on midnight actually, and I have just closed the door. And see, to be honest, I am dying to go to bed. I am used to a disembarkation day. That means that I get off the ship and within 20 minutes I'm back at a hotel ready to spend the night, or within an hour I'm on the next ship. So yeah, today has been, it's been a long day, but I am so excited to be here. So I'm spending the next 6 nights on land, and then I'll be going back down to New York, and I'll be getting on 2 ships. So the first is going to be MSC Meraviglia, and that's Canada and New England. And then the second is going to be Norwegian Escape, which was actually my first ever cruise ship. So I don't know how I feel about getting back on that. Like, I think I'm excited, but I'm also weirdly nervous because obviously I fell in love with cruising on that ship. So very intrigued to see if it's as good second time round, or if I'll go on and wish I'd maybe left it to one visit. Who knows? You'll need to come along and see. But hey, look, wrapping up on today, I've really enjoyed travelling today. I've actually really enjoyed this cruise. I didn't enjoy Horizon as much as Panorama, and hopefully you've kind of got a bit of a feel for that in the vlogs. And yeah, there'll be more videos going up to talk to you about Carnival, but the experience on Horizon, it just wasn't as strong from a guest experience point of view as what it was on Panorama. But on there, everything was very sharp. So yeah, I've just had a few niggles this week on Horizon. I've still had a fantastic cruise, but there's some things just from being on ship so long that they really need to try and just get over. So like, even just little things like when you go to the buffet, like if there's a wet bit on the floor, they just throw loads of towels on it and then walk away from it, rather than what they were doing on Panorama, which was come and actually clean the area and then reset it. So yeah, little bit of a weird one, to be honest. So yes, anyway, moving on from that, this week I'm going to be covering 3 new American states, so I might get to bring you some content for what I discover, but I don't think I'll be making videos over the next week because I have got so much cruise ship content that I need to try and edit and get uploaded, and yeah, get over to you guys on YouTube. So look, the only final thing for me to say before I can go over there and run and jump onto what is one of the biggest Holiday Inn beds I have ever seen is thank you so much for following along. And if you'd like to join me on my next ship and on my next part of this incredible journey, then you absolutely can do that by just clicking subscribe down beneath the video. And while you're down there, if you have enjoyed this, please think about giving the video a thumbs up, because that helps to push me to so many more people. But look, wherever you are in the world, thank you so much for watching. A very good night to you. And I'm going to bed, so I will see you in a couple of days back down in New York City as we get ready to cruise to Canada. Great. Good night, guys. Bye. If you enjoyed this video today, did you know that you can become a member of my YouTube channel for an exclusive behind the scenes look at some of the ships that I'm travelling on? If you're over on Patreon, then I would love to see you over there. All you have to do to join me on that community is just search www.patreon.com/Fraser@Sea. Both my YouTube memberships and my Patreon site lead directly to me getting on more cruise ships, and both offer a completely behind the scenes look at what's going on.